Pocket 4K can handle 25,600 ISO. GH5S review. Shocking low light for micro GH5 versus high ISO light comparison. Unbelievable low light BMPCC4K footage that will blow your mind. And a few more choice hyperboles to really spice things up. Alright, yes, the Pocket 4K is an incredible low-light camera. It is as good as Micro Four Thirds will ever be, let's keep it real. It has the same ISO range as my Canon 80D does, from 100 to 25,600. But even though the Pocket 4K has the same ISO range as the Canon 80D does, it's better at resolving noise, and the Pocket 4K has a smaller sensor size than the Canon 80D, which, has an APS-C size sensor within it. We've sort of hit the peak of Micro Four Thirds, really, as my photography friend would say. Yeah, it's like you can't bend the laws of physics after all, and an APS-C will be an APS-C, and Micro Four Thirds will be Micro Four Thirds. A Micro Four Thirds sensor can't be bigger than what it is. It is just Micro Four Thirds. A full frame sensor, by virtue of its bigger size, is just going to objectively have a bigger surface area for which more lights can hit it, thereby more photons hitting it, and therefore a cleaner low light image. After that, it's sensor technology, processors, the aperture on the lens itself, yada yada, so on and so forth. I waited until it was nighttime, and I set out to film a few interior shots here and there using one source of lighting. So I shot using the main camera, the MVP, the Pocket 4K, and alongside the Pocket 4K, I shot also with the Pocket, the Panasonic G7 and the Canon 80D. Now on the Pocket 4K and the G7, I shot in 4K, and the 80D, even though it came out in 2016, the maximum resolution it could shoot at was 1080p. Yikes. Hindsight being 2020, I should have shot both the 4K cameras in 1080p as well for a more extensive experiment, I guess you could call it, because just to test whether downsampling it would produce a cleaner image. Yeah, perhaps a video for another time. But yeah, with an APS-C sensor, that is a very, very densely populated sensor with a lot of very, very small pixels to fit into that limited crop size. Couple that with the fact that the Digic whatever number processor is in this, compare that Digic processor with Sony's runs, which are low light kings. Yeah, that's why the ISO performance, as you will see in a bit, is absolute garbage. But with that side rambling and distraction out of the way, let's go over to the computer and start pixel peeping, my fellow procrastinators. Alright, thus begins the unscripted part of the video. Alright, so sorry future editing me, there's gonna be a lot of adjusting going on. Alright, yeah, just a few shots here and there. Sorry Nicholas from Gear Seekers, Final Cut Pro still. Yeah, to have what's called the fixed variable, yeah, it's all the same camera settings on each of the 3 camera bodies. So it's all ISO 3200 or whatever. So this one is the Pocket 4K. There is noise there at 3200 ISO. Now keeping in mind, if I was to shoot this in RAW and then apply the noise reduction onto it in DaVinci Resolve, it would be even better. But it's not terrible when you compare it to the Canon 80D. No questions. You can just see how muddy everything is, and here much better in my opinion. But yeah, pixel peeping. Oh yeah, I should also mention, this was the first night that I did it, so I didn't think to do it with the G7. In fact, there it is. Now, yeah, once again, 3200 ISO. The noise is there, but it's an acceptable image quality. It looks very, almost kind of looks so cinematic in my opinion. I would very happily watch that. Now this one, it's just, there's a purple magenta color shift. But as you can see, I don't even need to pixel peep with this one. This is just terrible. The top right corner is just, yeah, very purpley compared to this, which is more greeny. I did minimum color grading because I just slapped on the battery LUT on this, which by the way, I bought it full price rather than just and then a few days later I found out that some YouTuber had a 10% discount on it. Whoops, it was Matteo Bertoli. So you're an awesome YouTuber, man.
Oh, sorry, you're an awesome filmmaker, man. God damn. Yeah, so this is the raw file out of it, and like I just slapped on the buttery light, and look at that. Just, yeah, I could make like a few tweaks here and there, but I'm very satisfied with that. And then here, it's shot in Cine style, but even then, there was no redemption for this evil child. That's not good, not ideal, but when you see the full picture, it's fine. Remember, this is micro four thirds. This is pretty dang good. And remember, brighter pixel means a sharper pixel. And then here, once again, Canon 80D. Oh my god. Movements everywhere. Like that. Oh my god, I didn't even need to pause and play with this one to see just all the noise going on. All right. So now comes on to the second night. This was when I actually got out the third camera, the G7 as well. So let's have a look at that. Okay, yeah, color science, that would be that's like a different topic. Like, yeah, again, just so grainy and just, if we were to zoom into my face right there, that's just Roswell 1960 UFO footage potato sort of quality. Now here is like where the interesting thing I start noticing is, given like the dynamic range, there was a lot that could be seen in the shadows. So middle gray is like, so then 3200, yeah, 8.7 stops below middle gray. Yeah, there's a lot you could see right there on the Pocket 4K, but since it is so dark, even with a good low light camera, it's like, yeah, it was still pretty grainy. The G7 just crushes the blacks like crazy. So for example here, like the second shot here with the Watchmen sort of styled kindergarten looking mug. Yeah, below the table, complete black. That baseline over there is just close to absolute zero. And I haven't done any color grading to it. This is straight out of camera. Let me see, this one. Yeah, I had Cine style on, so there was more. Yeah, I had Cine style on, so there's more leeway. So you could see it doesn't hit zero and it doesn't really hit 100, but then I put on the adjustment layer, it's still not hitting zero. So you can see below the table, you can still see the plastic covers over there. Yeah, it's like below the table, yeah, it's still some detail there, but you can see it's just above zero. But if need be, it doesn't have to be. I can just color grade to have it not reach or encroach upon zero. Okie dokie, let's go into the third. Again, yeah, the G7, its way of resolving noise is just to crush everything to all the shadows to absolute black. So you can't see, like, you can't really distinguish between my like track pants here and the black surface of the couch. But yeah, as for noise performance, yeah, Pocket 4K, absolutely wonderful. I was expecting the G7 to be quite noisy, but yeah, it's all right, to be honest, albeit the blacks being like a bit too crushed. And then the Canon 80D, just no redemption at all. Sorry, not sorry. On to the next. Let's get started with the Canon, the Pocket 4K, starting at ISO 100. Let me see here. Yeah, so it's absolute black, of course. And then I'm just like slowly raising the ISO right here. 200, 250, 320, 400. Yeah, so still very clean results, I have to say. 800, 1000. That's where you see stuff. Yeah, and then back to 1250. Okay, so at 1000, I noticed even on the screen on the Pocket 4K that it starts to get a bit purpley. So I know some reviews are saying that there's no color shift at all, but at ISO 1000, I noticed that the overall image has a sort of purplish coloring to it, yeah, in the noisy bits. Yeah, you can see how the black magic happening, in which it jumps from like the first bracket of ISO to the second. From 1000, there's like 5.3 stops in like the highlight bits above middle gray. Stops above middle gray, but then you jump over to 1250, it goes back down to like 2.3 stops above middle gray. So that's 1000. It'll be a very noisy image, but it is the ISO range at which there is the most latitude in the highlight bits. So you can see there's like you can see the difference between like the naked flame here and the surrounding wax around it. So yeah, back to the second base ISO of the Pocket 4K. That's hence why the shadows suddenly become very clean, but at the sacrifice of not having so much latitude in the highlights department. You see that? Noise floor, 1000. Very wide spread out, 1250. Back down to just paper thin, razor thin. Not razor thin, razor thin. And then as it goes up, it happens again. So 1600, yeah, I'm just gonna fast forward this, 2000, 1250, 3200. Okay, 3200. That is grainy. That is grainy, I'm not gonna lie. But it's acceptable sort of grainy. 4000, 5000, 6400. Oh yeah, you can definitely tell. Teetering on unacceptable image quality. Yeah, I can't even speak properly right now. But like, in an ideal situation, an narrative for like a music video sort of shoot, you would have more lights than this. Now I'm gonna have to say, yeah, the Pocket 4K footage is unacceptable. Still better than the 80D though, so as you will see. Yeah, and then at 1250, yeah, I mean, I started noticing it a bit earlier on, but then I had to just make sure until I went up to the highest ISO. That's when I noticed, just look at that, there's these black lines over there. It's like a thick line, and then there's like, seems to be like a second thinner line. So I don't know what's up with that. It's very strange, you know. Okay, just ignore the fact that there's a very noisy image right now. The other two cameras with the same lens didn't have this black lines. So that leads me to believe that it is because of the camera. Even though the G7 and the Pocket 4K use like the same focal reducer, the no bend speed booster, and the same lens. So yeah, it has to be like a sensor thing. All right, let's jump on to the G7. Interestingly, you can only start at ISO 200 in video mode. In photo mode, yeah, you can go to 100, fine, but like in video, yeah, only ISO 200. Maybe a strength, maybe a weakness, I don't know. And yeah, as we go through this, yeah, the naked flame and the wax and the wax behind it, surrounding it, just blends very, very quickly, almost immediately. Oh wait, actually disable the text here, shouldn't I? Yeah, you can see right there, that's just the thing holding the candle. I raise my ISO, yep, and then the maximum ISO is like 6400. Yeah, would you look at that? That's actually, okay. The G7 seems to have that tendency to push towards like a warmer image for some reason, and in this instant it's kind of served it pretty well. There's like some in-body noise reduction going on, and like I trust the developers to know the hardware the best and therefore know what to tweak within their software in order to produce that clean image. All the grains, they seem to have melted together, and now it's definitely a softer image, but I think it compensates well by being a 4K image. And so it's still plenty sharp enough. I'm surprised. Yeah, it beat out my my Pocket 4K. And I think maybe the Pocket 4K can be better if I did some proper grading on it. But so far from what I can see, yeah, I much prefer the G7. Now, this one is going to be quick. Sinister, it just hacks the 80D's sensor to forcibly give it more dynamic range than what it actually can do. And as a result of that, you get very weird results like this on the waveform. That is just this razor sharp line that's slightly above 0, but is never actually hitting 0. That's gonna introduce some funk, let's just say. I noticed something weird with like the naked flame over there. It seems to me the Canon 80D also has some sort of ISO bracket. Yeah, it seems from ISO 100 to 250, you can preserve like the naked flames over there, but then you jump to 320, yeah, props to Canon for being able to have such a wide like ISO range, but OMG. Why would you ever go this high on a Canon 80D? Beats me. Like, it's so, everything, all the noise is just so like, I don't even know how to put into words, like, except just do it with hand motion. It's just like that. Look at the waveform. It's jumping like this. If it was gonna be this noisy, I don't even understand why they gave us the option. I really don't understand. I think for a long time, from what I heard from hearsay, Canon 80D's weak point was in processor technology. It was like lagging behind it with Sony. I think that's why there's always like the Canon cripple hammer that was just holding back. There was just like a sleeper in the industry, and now with the R5, they won't release technology until it's like ready. Even at 6400, it was kind of, yeah, the noise floor is not at zero. It's weird, as my German friends at Tongji University in Shanghai pronounced it, because they just say weird flex. They'll just be talking in German and they'll just insert weird flex like that. That's how they pronounce it, weird. In this particular instant, like, if a camera is pointed directly at a lit candle in a dark room, first place goes to the G7, second place goes to the Pocket 4K, and third place goes to the Canon 80D. But yeah, it was an unfair comparison with the Canon 80D because it is so terrible at low light. Yeah, why did I even put the Canon 80D in there? Well, because I love to bash Canon, and yeah, the tradition continues in this video. So yeah, surprise, it wasn't that black and white, really. Like, I thought the Pocket 4K would just trump the G7 and the 80D. Well, 80D was pretty obvious, but I wasn't expecting the G7, a fellow Micro Four Thirds camera, to actually be performing that well, a 2015 camera. Don't discount the G7. With proper lighting, you can get a shot like this to look better. With proper lighting, you can get a shot like this to look better. And with proper lighting, you can get a shot like this to look better. Yeah, so there you have it. Again, just that weird, like, shadowy line thing. I don't know what that's about. So if you enjoyed this video, then thumbs up really helps, and thumbs down also really helps, but even more so if you leave constructive comments down in the comment section below, telling me what you liked, what you didn't like, what could be improved, what maybe you should be left out, I don't know. Yeah, just anything. Till next time, stay safe from the coronavirus. Thanks for watching, and keep on procrastinating. So, see ya.